Hi, my name is Mandolin Royal, and today I'm going to be moving around a big pile of birds. I need to cycle them through their growth areas and increase their spaces. And one of the things I'm going to be looking for today is leg color as I organize them. And I can go ahead and sort for that early expression of that trait, and I'm going to start with these guys here. And the ones who have dark blue legs, I'm going to drop them to the floor of this building where they can continue to grow. And if they have a lighter color leg, I'm going to move them over to rooster coop because that's our probable dinner birds. So in the adults, I looked at leg color, but I didn't scrutinize leg color because being dual purpose means that we're going to have freezer birds. And it's okay to let a couple of things slip through when you're looking more at table qualities and their fleshing, growth rate, stuff like that. But next season, I'm going to refine the breeding a bit more now that I've set in those table traits. And I'm going to talk about the table traits and what to look for in a separate video. But today, I do want to show you how to go through the birds trait by trait with what you can see for their age. We'll get up close and personable with some variety of the leg color as I sort through them. And there's going to be 3 different batches involved in this sort. So these guys, they're coming up on 6 weeks old. Then there's some 4-week-olds and there's some 3-week-olds. And all of those ages are going to be in various developments of their coloring. And I'm only looking for the darkest ones. As they grow further, we can sort for other traits. But right now I can look at basic health and vigor and how spunky they are and how their legs are starting to change color. Because the American Bresse, they're not born with blue legs. They usually start out pretty yellow, and then by 2 weeks old, they're changing gears. In some of the bloodlines, it does vary, and some of them get that dark leg color pretty early, and some of them hatch with tinted colored legs. It can really vary, so you have to look at what you have in your own flock and see what happens when. But I'm going to go ahead and get the floor of this building set up. I've already got bedding in here. I just need to do the food and water. Then I'll sort through these birds. Then I'll clean these brooders out and move on to the next batch. Sort them into these 2 brooders between dark legs and light legs. And then I'll do the same thing with the next batch after that. So that's going to be my Sunday morning. And I want you guys to follow along and see some of the things I'm looking for. So this group actually was pretty spry, and I couldn't film catching them. But I sorted them out quickly by sight, and I only found 4 I didn't care for. And as usual, the lighting is going to play tricks on us. Like this guy looks pretty blue in the feet, but he's not as blue as he's letting on for real. This one looks lighter in this lighting, but he's actually pretty dark. I wonder if I should use my camera to sort for leg color to really find the darkest ones, like this one. That's interesting to see. But I'm going to get my hands on the rest of these. I'm going to check out their toes too while I have them. And some of their basic structure and how meaty they feel. Because 4 birds into a giant 9x13 building doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to see if I can scrutinize a little bit further and find them some more friends to go over there with. Alright, so I have a group of 8 pullets and 1 male of terrified dark-legged babies who are in a much bigger space now. The others, I only found 5 total that I felt comfortable labeling as probable dinner birds, so I stuck them in with a batch of slightly older birds I haven't gone through yet. So eventually they'll make their way over to rooster coop. And 3 of the ones I pulled out of those 5 were pullets, and that's okay. They taste good too. But this is a surprisingly pellet heavy batch, so that's kind of neat to see. Normally it's the reverse for me, where I see more boys than girls. But I have these two brooders set up, cleaned out, fresh water, fresh food, ready for the next batch to go in here. Now I'm going to put the light-footed birds on the left and the darker-footed birds on the right. Now I'm going to change buildings, go over to the hatch room, and see what's in there. Alright, so I'm here with the 4-week-olds. I'm going to put the light-footed birds on the left side. Help myself remember. I have my 2 sort totes. Left side for light foot. Right side, darker foot. I want to see if they're going to let me catch them one-handed. I'll probably be able to get through most of them. But even from this view, you can see there's variety to the leg color. And since we know what we don't want, we can sort based off of that. I'm going to look at their toes too while I have them. Hey, come here. Relax. I'm going to call these light, but straight. One of the reasons why I sort them into different housing like this is because it forces me to put my hands on them pretty often. And feeling them is a great way to see what's going on. This is another Lightfoot. When I'm looking at which one I'm going to catch, I'm looking at their legs. And I'm intentionally trying to go for the lightest legs first. This is a squat little bird. Oh, wow. Definitely light-footed. But very, very meaty. Not going to argue with that. There was another light-footed one. Oh, gosh, you're meaty. This one's borderline. Are you a boy or a girl? You're a boy. Since these birds are going to end up in rooster coop, I'm going to side-eye gender. Especially since my boys tend to have the lighter foot color over the females. Hey, hold still. Let me get a better grip. You're meaty, but you feel a little skinny. Yep, those are light feet. You're pretty pink. But you're a chunky little boy. Holy cow. Gosh. That guy will probably dress out to be about the biggest one. Alright, what else we got? Let me see you guys. Alright, I'm going to switch over to blue-footed birds. See if I find any more with a light foot. Now, you may have heard me mention that I don't sell hatching eggs or day-old chicks. And this is part of the reason why that is. Because anybody who got them would have to do this same process. And a lot of people are new to the variety, so it's kind of not fair for me to do that to them. So I'm going to go ahead and take ownership over what I'm hatching and do this step, which coincidentally is going to keep me well stocked on freezer birds. Come here, come here, come here. You're a boy, but you got dark feet. I want to look at you. Hold still. Yeah, those are turning blue. He's going in the right side box for sure. One of the other things that you might see is partial coloring. This screaming little pellet is showing a blue leg but with pink toes. But she feels extra meaty. For now, I'm going to put her in the dark foot side of things. That's blue enough to count. What else we got? You're blue. The leg color now, it's not their permanent leg color. They're going to continue to change and darken up if they're going to. But I want to start sorting them out for who's going to do it sooner. And whatever they do as offspring is potentially what their offspring will do. That's blue. And you're a boy. Last two. One girl, one boy. Female has a darker leg color than the boy. Let me see, how meaty are you? A little on the narrow side and a little pale in the legs. So we're going to go ahead and put you in the light-legged tote. Come here. Your last cheek. Hold still. I want to see your feet. We're not as dark as the others. You'll probably turn darker, and if so, we'll find you later. So here's our group of the light legs. Here's our group of the dark legs. So I'm going to go ahead and move them over to those other brooders, and then I'm going to scrub out this brooder. And then we're going to do the same thing with this batch. They're even younger. These guys are 3 weeks old. So they're just starting to turn. So I'm going to put the lighter footed birds up top. And I'm going to keep the darker footed birds on the bottom. So one important step when you're moving around birds is if you have an empty pen, you clean the empty pen. So I removed all of the shavings. And then I've sprayed it in a bleach solution. I'm going to give it a couple minutes to soak in. Then I'm going to scrape it and wipe it down. Then I'm going to refill it with clean shavings, fresh water, sanitized feeder, sanitized drinker, all that. Because the difference is the birds that came out of here, they had 2 weeks of their immune systems developing. And these guys are just coming into their immune systems functioning on their own from the resistance that they may have hatched with. So keeping everything clean is going to improve your success rate dramatically. I do use this galvanized garbage can to put the shavings into, then I can easily carry them out to the compost or put them in my wheeled cart and get them out there that way. And I just use a little dustpan to scoop everything up. Just thought I would mention that because it's a very important part of the process. Just basically remember, if you have an empty pen, clean it before you put something else in there. So the little 3-week-old birds, they're showing the same sort of variation that's been pretty consistent in the other two groups. But I'm set up for sorting now after getting the upper brooder cleaned out, scrubbed, sanitized, new food, new water. I have my totes right next to me. These flip lid totes are pretty cool for moving birds around. And I keep the lid half shut. It seems to help with calmness, and it seems to reduce escape a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing again where I start with intentionally seeking out the lighter footed birds. And putting them on the left side. You want to develop your own habits so that you can be systematic in what you're doing. These guys aren't really going to be showing off chunkiness just yet, but they still have a pretty good feel to them. This is a little one. Probably a pullet. We'll put her with pink feet for now. Whatever I put in the tote of the desired traits, I also want to look at some other stuff. This one's definitely a blue-footed bird, going dark pretty early, and it's chunky. Right now the toes look pretty straight. And it's probably a girl. Probably a good one. Curious to see how many of what I get. This batch seems to be tilted towards the lighter leg color, but they're a week behind. So I'll be able to go back through next time and see if anything changed for any of them. Oh, you are meaty as heck. And you're turning. I like you for more grow up for sure. This one feels a little smaller. Not coming in quite that blue yet. Same for you. Same for you. By going through them when they're young like this, it helps a lot in the type of chicks you're going to get next time when you breed from them. Because what these guys do is offspring. Their offspring may also do the same thing. That's dark enough for the age. Dark enough. Probably a girl. Pretty light bent toe there on that one. Little light-footed box. You're pretty chunky. Legs are turning. So these guys are due for an increase in living quarters. So the other benefit of this is that their living quarters will double just by splitting the group. You're awful meaty. Girl. I'm gonna go ahead and put you in the dark leg box and see what happens. Those are turning, but the toes are pink. But she's pretty meaty. Same for you. You're a boy. Starting to turn. Pretty chunky. Turning, but pink toes. Oh gosh. Pretty meaty for a girl. Pretty light-footed. Kind of small too. Put you in the Lightfoot box. You're gonna be tall. like you. We'll keep you closer. Pretty good foot color coming. Got two more. It's pretty pink. Probably female. Light colored box. Here, boy. Pretty big too. Jeez, little Pete's. Got one bent toe. Put him in the light-footed box. So here's our light-footed babies. Dark-footed or sort of dark-footed, but I like their feel. So now I get to clean out this brooder and then put them back, and it's another day of sorting completed. While I'm cleaning, I'm probably going to think of some more notes to add on to this. So from the 3-week-old batch, we came up with 18 total who passed the first sort, and 14 who did not pass, as in probably table birds. And this is my last batch of the season. So this is the group we're going to watch over the duration of the next several months to see what sort of results we end up with by watching them grow and sorting through them for one trait or another. Keeping tabs on who's a likely breeding candidate and who's not. But the favorite thing I have about being dual purpose is that these guys down below that I know I'm pretty sure not going to have a breeding use for, I don't have to call them today. I can keep going on their growth, I can keep watching them, and I can shift around their diet to be suitable for our table needs, do a finishing with them. And it's nice, they're not gonna be a waste byproduct, so to speak, from the breeding process. And in some operations, once you identify a call, it's the most efficient thing to do to call it on the spot so that it's no longer taking up the resources of food, water, and shelter. But we grew our grow out space to accommodate hanging on to those birds longer so that we can get up to table age with them. And that's where our freezer chicken comes from. These guys, right now, for this age, are the most promising. And as they get through additional growth milestones, we can further thin this group out. So we're left with the best of the best. But it's going to be several weeks before we know who they really are. But this is the group we're going to watch, see what happens. They all have the same dad, and they're out of 5 different hens. And I'm anticipating a retention rate of 10%. But we'll see. See you guys next time when we sort for weight. We're going to do that here in about 2 weeks. We're going to sort them by gender and then get them on the scale. See what they weigh. Feel free to follow, subscribe. That way you can catch up on the results from this group.